You know, buddy, if you remember those old days when we played with Chico, we used to write a lot of tunes that had the sort of classical orientation, you know, remember Reflections?
Well, you did a lot of that at the time, yes.
And they used to say, well, it doesn't swing and all of that, but they forgot that we were just playing music rather than just jazz alone. So, you know, during the years you and I have been in conversation all the time, we were thinking about what other direction jazz could take because of a lot of the notes that are going on and the excitement and so forth. And I, as you, believe in the lyrical side of jazz, the line. Fred. Isn't that true?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought I would write this tune, and I originally wrote it for my son. It's called Hi the Man. I wrote it for Hyman.
For Hyman, true.
He's not ready yet to play it, but I know you are.
Quiet.
So I wrote this tune sort of to give a feeling of the classical feeling, because it's all written, as you know, but yet to be played by a jazz man with a jazz feeling, and hopefully to continue it maybe with a second movement or a third movement, and then open it up for jazz blowing.
Very good.
I thought maybe you'd try that.
Well, is there any particular way you want me to phrase it, or just kind of just...
Pretty much phrase it the way you want to, except maybe when if you feel like going faster in some spots, you can't, you know. I mean,
all right, and you will just keep up with me and follow. All right, let's try it.
Okay, let's try it.
You remember the original Chico group, when we used to, you know, play all those melodies and a lot of those things that you were writing? I wonder if you have something of that kind, you know, now that you could play.
Yeah.
And let me sort of join in with you. If you can give me an idea what the theme is going to be, we'll do like we used to. We'll improvise on it.
Okay. It's kind of a challenge because it's, you know, it's almost completely free form, if not free form, really. And it's based upon a series of tones, a series sort of like a mode, sort of a D minor mode, Hebraic Oriental mode, and it's a very mystical melody, you know. And the whole feeling of it should be sort of a prayer, is really what it is.
If you'll start it, then
okay,
I'll come in when I feel
fine
that I can join you.
And we'll be together in spirit somehow.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
There we
Cheek.
are.
Hey,
we are
it's
all
been a long
together.
time, yeah, Fred.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Nice seeing you again.
yeah. You know, I was just thinking.
How's that, buddy?
I think it would be interesting maybe for some of the listeners, you know, I used to tell a few friends, you know, how the group started. Now, Nancy, you and Fred could tell that story better than I can. Yeah,
We formed that group out of self-defense,
yeah,
remember?
but do you remember
Because
I was
at that
late
time,
in the beginning?
Yeah, but at that time, when I had left, left Lena and everything and came back home, which was L.A., the fact that a lot of the guys in L.A. at that time, without being nameless, remaining nameless, I thought, hey, man, I was really looking forward to playing with him. And when I did start playing with him, I was very disappointed because seemingly the guys didn't grow, they were, sort of at a status quo. But
Yeah.
but by the same token, if you remember correctly, after we got together, the most important thing was the fact that, like, all we were trying to do is play in tune. Because this was the beginning of when rock and roll was just, when it was all of a sudden it just started taking off. And every musician, that was good musicians, all of a sudden, in order just to make a living, just to survive, had to start putting on gloves. For instance, saxophone players had to wear boxing gloves. Trumpet players had to wear mittens to play on, right? But basically, it was the fact that, like, we just wanted to play, and we wanted to play until we wanted to play good music. I already had the basics of the group. John Gross, who's
A French horn player.
Yeah, French horn
right.
player.
Okay.
Yeah, I was originally going to be the member of the group, but unfortunately, as you know, he passed away.
Yeah.
And I was telling my plight to Fred that night, and he says, "Hey, well, I've thought about playing maybe some jazz on the cello." I said, "Hey, well, man, that'd be dynamite." And when we start talking about a horn, right?
All right. The Buddy Collette.
Buddy
Who
Collette.
else? Yeah.
But anyway, the thing that I remember, maybe you can straighten me out on this, is when we did work at the Strollers, when I finally joined you, the original idea was not to
Yeah.
have Fred play the cello with the group. He was playing piano. You remember when I came there? And Fred was playing cello solos,
That were written. That were written,
but
yeah.
usually when we took an intermission, Fred would go out and play the cello solos, and the bandstand was so small that by the time we got back on the stand, he couldn't get back to the piano, so he began to improvise those lines
That's right.
with the cello, remember, which gave us ideas of how to write
Yeah.
for you.
Right,
Once
that's
we'd hear
true.
something that would work.
That's true.
I think something else is very important is the fact that, like, if people had seen that place where our first job.
You mean
which
the
was-
Strollers?
The Strollers in
Yeah.
Long Beach.
Yeah.
Originally it was actually it was a house of ill repute, and and they figured, hey, man, you got to be out of your bird. You're going to bring a band in here with a cello and a flute and everything. And we won them over within a short period of time.
First, we couldn't get anybody to record
Couldn't
us.
get arrested, right?
And then,
Yeah.
after the radio broadcast for about a couple of weeks, they were all calling us, and we had 3 or 4 of them in there. And we finally decided to go with Dick Bach and
Yeah.
Pacific Jazz at the time.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, thank you.
Very nice meeting you again.
Thank you.